Johnson County, Kansas sits just across the state line from Kansas City, Missouri, and it is about as far from the streets as it gets. Johnson is the kind of area where men wear khaki cargo shorts to a cookout, or people's largest problem is their local HOA. Johnson County has consistently ranked among the safest suburban counties in the entire United States. Carmel and Noblesville in Indiana usually get all the headlines for safety rankings, but Johnson County, with its cities of Olathe, Shawnee, Lenexa, Gardner, and Overland Park, is right there with them. In 2020 and 2021, the city of Shawnee had 0 homicides, which is pretty crazy for an American city, but then something changed. Between 2021 and 2023, a wave of teenagers with clips started tearing through one of the most comfortable suburban counties.
That's how it always
robbing
is, bro.
People, shooting each
trying
other,
to be
bringing guns
so
to
bad.
school, and leaving a trail of dead bodies and prison sentences behind them. By 2022, the sheriff said his deputies were watching normal suburban teenagers killing each other, not over hard shit like fentanyl or heroin or anything you'd expect, but over dime bags of weed. This is what happens when suburban kids try to play gangsta.
Why? What's the point of playing gangster?
It started in the most public and
live a
jarring way
normal
possible.
life.
On the morning of Friday, March 4th, 2022, inside the main office of Olathe East High School. Olathe East is a large public high school on West 127th Street, the kind of school with a football team and a booster club and school pride competitions. Jaylon Deason Elmore was 18 years old and a senior there. He was also a convicted felon who, back in 2020 when he was 16, had been convicted of robbery in juvenile court in Wyandotte County for...
Hold on. My shit is, if you growing up in a community where it's not a lot of violence, why the fuck do you want to bring violence to the community? It make no sense, bro. Like, live a normal life, bro. Everybody don't have to be gangster. That gangster shit played out already.
Forcibly stealing a man's wallet and had completed 6 months of probation. That prior conviction meant he was legally prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm, which didn't stop him from getting his hands on a ghost gun, a kind of homemade, untraceable pistol assembled from a 3D printed kit you can buy without a background check. A fellow student on the bus noticed Elmore's ghost gun and tipped off school administrators. On the morning of March 4th, Assistant Principal Caleb Stoppel pulled Elmore out of shop class under the pretense of discussing his academic standing and asked him to bring his backpack. Once Elmore was in the office, Stoppel switched the subject and told him the school was searching everyone involved in the bus incident. Elmore immediately got defensive, moved his backpack around to his front, and refused to let anyone near it. Stoppel texted school resource officer Eric Clark to come to the office right away. When Clark walked in, Elmore reached into his backpack and pulled out the green camo-patterned ghost gun. With 13 rounds loaded and one spent shell
Don't tell me
already
he shot
blocking
somebody.
the slide, he fired 5 times directly at Clark. Clark was hit 4 times, with one bullet striking his body camera and destroying it, and the other 3 causing gunshot wounds.
Yo, this nigga is the dumbest nigga ever, bro. Well, not the dumbest nigga ever, but one of the dumbest. Just let him take the gun, bro. At least you already not supposed to have a gun, right? And then you go make a homemade pistol, whatever. And then you shoot a cop. Nigga, I just pray you get a lenient judge, bro.
Clark returned fire, shooting Elmore and accidentally hitting Stoppel, who had jumped on top of Elmore to try to wrestle the gun away. Elmore, Clark, and Stoppel were all rushed to Overland Park Regional Medical Center. Clark and Stoppel were treated and released the same day. Elmore was critically injured and spent roughly 2 months in the hospital, undergoing multiple surgeries before he was stable enough to be transferred to jail. While he was still recovering, someone sent a text to his phone that said, "I told you not to even have that gun on you." The identity of the sender was redacted from the court documents. Elmore's attorney later told reporters that his client's only regret was not just handing the gun over when he had the chance. "I don't know how many times he has said to me, I should have just given them the damn gun." In January 2025, Elmore pleaded guilty to attempted premeditated first-degree murder and possession of a firearm
How many
by a
years?
felon.
How
In
many
March
years?
2025, Judge T. Kelly Ryan sentenced him to 20 years in prison.
This nigga got sentenced to 20 years. I'm just a little bit older than that. Then this nigga gonna spend my whole entire life in prison. Worst, you know what? Worst kind of worst, he gonna spend like 12, 15 years on good behavior, and then he gonna get out. But if not, he's spending my whole lifetime in jail, bro. That is crazy. Anyway, it is what it is.
2 months after the Olathe East shooting, in the early hours of Saturday, May 14, 2022, Olathe police were called to Black Bob Park at around 4 a.m. Black Bob Park is a wide-open public park at 14500 West 151st Street with soccer fields and walking trails. When officers arrived, they found 19-year-old Marco Cardino of Smithville, Missouri, shot multiple times and slumped in his car. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Cardino was a Shawnee Mission West graduate who had grown up entirely in the Johnson County school system. He had been lured to that park to sell marijuana to a group of teenagers he had dealt with before. One of the girls in the group had purchased vapes and alcohol from him previously and knew how to reach him. On the night of May 13th, the 6 teenagers were at a crib drinking and smoking, but they ran out of weed fast. Instead of paying for it, they came up with another plan. A 13-year-old girl in the group messaged Cardino on Snapchat and set up
13. And you already smoking and drinking. Like, dude, for a nigga, it's different. Because for a nigga, like, it's not even different, but you a girl at that. What you want to do is smoke and drink at 13, bro. You know she getting cracked. You just know she getting cracked.
A deal. Black Bob Park was chosen as the location. The 6 teenagers drove there in 2 separate vehicles. They brought masks and a gun. The ringleader of the group was Jacoby Epting, who was 14 years old. According to prosecutors, Epting organized the robbery.
Bro, so these kids not even, they 14, 13, 15, around that age, and they already having guns and shit?
Instructed the other 5 teenagers on their rolls, brought the gun, and wore a mask to conceal his face. When Cardino arrived at the park to do the deal, the males in the group got out of the vehicles. Epting pulled the gun out, showed it to Cardino, and shot him. Cardino died in the park. A second person at the scene was also shot at but survived. All 6 teenagers, 4 who were 14 and 2 who were 13, were charged with first-degree murder. The DA's office sought to try the 4 14-year-olds as adults. Kansas law prohibits trying 13-year-olds as adults, regardless of the crime. At least 4 of the 6 were middle school students at the time.
These niggas was in middle school. Where the fuck did they get the cars from? That's number one. When I was 14, bro, I was walking everywhere. Man, new generation shit is different, bro. When I was 14, bro, nigga, I used to hide smoke. I don't even think I started smoking until I was like 15. Now they getting charged as adults, bro. You not even seeing crazy.
By the time every case was resolved, the outcomes broke down like this. Jacoby Epting, identified by prosecutors as the person who orchestrated the crime and pulled the trigger, pleaded guilty in October 2024 to second-degree murder and was sentenced in February 2025 to just over 20 years in an adult prison. 2
Again,
others pleaded guilty
20 years. I'm just a little bit older than that. That's my whole life.
to second-degree murder and were sentenced to juvenile correctional facilities until they turned 22 and a half, after which they faced nearly 13 years in adult prison. One other member of
they cooked.
Pleaded no contest to
They
aggravated
cooked,
battery
bro.
and received 15 months of probation. The 2 13-year-olds were prosecuted entirely within the juvenile system, their records sealed. 6 months after Black Bob Park, on the night of November 30th, 2022, Shawnee police were called to the 11,000 block of Johnson Drive for a welfare check near a strip of businesses. Officers found 25-year-old Gerard Rogers suffering from a gunshot wound to the head in a parking lot near Johnson Drive and Neiman Road in downtown Shawnee. He was taken to Overland Park Regional Medical Center, where he died 2 days later. Rogers was from Kansas City, Missouri, and had driven to Shawnee to sell marijuana to a group of 5 teenagers who had contacted him over text and social.
Wait, that's another thing I'm gonna say about being like a dealer, whether it's weed or cocaine, whatever, bro. Especially when you know you dealing with like young people, bro. You gotta be careful, cause a lot of these niggas, they not trying to pay you, they just trying to rob you, and they might not even be trying to shoot you at first, but if you notice they trying to rob you, just give that shit up, bro. It's not worth your life, bro. That's basically what I'm trying to say, bro. Some niggas, they be fighting back and shit, bro. Anyway,
Social media. What Rogers didn't know was that he was not going to a drug deal. He was walking into a robbery. When he showed up, Fernando Gonzalez Prado and Fernando Reyes Lara, 17 and 18 years old, respectively.
Bro, these niggas don't even be grown adults, bro. These niggas be teenagers doing this shit. Wasting your fucking potential, bro.
respectively, got out of a vehicle with a big gun and told the other three they would take care of the payment. Rogers was shot in the head, but no witness would confirm which one of them actually fired the shot. After the shooting, Gonzalez Prado and Reyes Lara took Rogers' Dodge Ram and drove it to Missouri, where police later found it abandoned using a GPS locator on one of Rogers' phones left inside the truck. The 5 teenagers charged were Fernando Reyes Lara, Fernando Gonzalez Prado, and 17-year-olds Roger Hernandez, Kylie Guzman, and Sabrina Clark. Reyes Lara alone had 15 prior juvenile criminal offenses on his record at the time of the shooting,
And this
including
nigga's
multiple
17.
firearm possession charges, and had been on probation just 2 months
15
before
criminal
Rogers
charges
was
at
killed.
17
The
is fucking
following
crazy.
day, multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Kansas Highway Patrol, Olathe Police, and Shawnee Police, were involved in a chase that ended near 118th Street and Black Bob Road in Olathe, where one suspect was taken into custody. A second turned themselves in at a Kansas City police station that same
Nigga
morning.
got
All
33.
5 were in custody within days.
Bro,
This
these
was
niggas are
Shawnee's third
goofies,
homicide
wasting
of
your fucking
2022.
potential.
Reyes Lara was sentenced in March 2024 to 400 months. Roger Hernandez
400 months.
received 147 months.
I'm not calculating
Gonzalez
that shit.
Prado
Let me use
pleaded
my phone
guilty
real
in
quick.
March 2025 to second-degree murder and aggravated robbery. Kylie Guzman was sentenced in August 2024 to 147 months. Sabrina
This nigga got 33 fucking years, bro. He got 33 years in jail, bro. Hey, bro. I can't even laugh, bro. That's almost double my lifespan right now, bro. I'm 20 something, early 20s.
Clark was sentenced to 95 months in a juvenile correctional facility.
95. She got 7 years, almost 8 years for
Then,
that.
in April 2023, Olathe added another one to the list. On April 15, 2023,
And then another crazy fact is this is the suburbs, bro. This not even the hood. Like, what y'all be doing out here, bro?
at around 4:45 in the afternoon, police were called to a parking lot at the Clarion Park Apartments at 16700 West 127th Street. By the time they got there, the car had already rolled from the parking lot and come to rest outside a salon on Rogers Road. Inside were 19-year-old Jessica Hicks of Olathe and 18-year-old Monterrio Spencer Jr. of Kansas City, Missouri. Hicks was pronounced dead at the scene. Spencer was rushed to a hospital and died from his injuries. Police determined that Hicks and Spencer had shot each other inside the car. The incident began in the parking lot and the car kept rolling until it stopped. Investigators noted the two didn't appear to actually know each other. The circumstances and motive are both still under investigation as of the time this video goes up.
Fuck y'all be doing, bro? YouTube, that's the end of the video, man. If you made it to the end, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, bro. And if you living in the suburbs, bro, don't try to be gangster. Don't try to be hood. Don't try to rob nobody, bro. There's plenty of ways you could get money nowadays, bro. That gangster shit, bro, is played out. With all that being said, man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that post notification. Until the next video. Huh.